Oh. Okay. I'll take another one.
Oh, that's good.
I remember when I was living with my family, my mother, my grandparents, a place called Stewart Bay. Uh,
There was another name for that bay. What was that?
yeah, Hakoda Bay.
Hakoda.
Yeah, because it was a Japanese settlement, and we were neighbors. We were on the other end of the little village there, and I remember Messenger 3 coming and visiting each home, and not really. I guess getting acquainted with the people that lived in well, my family, because we had two houses there, and I remember them coming for a visit. They didn't hold service, but they were witnessing to the people in their homes, telling them about the love of God. And I remember that first few times that they came, and I don't know how old I was, but I was young, and but I can remember later on the years when I got married and moved to Ucluelet East, and in 19 probably 56, and when they brought people to the village of Ucluelet, which we call hitaču, and village of that First Nation, and that was after I got married and moved there. But I remember oftentimes that they just visit the people house to house in the daytime, and oftentimes just stay there at the floats. And I think there were 2 or 3, and I think you were young, Earl.
I still am.
You still are.
I was very young.
Yeah. And then after 1956, the people of Ucluelet came to the Lord, and then it was Messenger 3 that brought people from a house who came and accepted the Lord at a house and I remember the names of those people that were there.
I recall was Stacy Peter. That young man was a splendid young man, a cripple.
Yes.
Poor eyesight.
Yes.
Not a good command of English.
Yes.
But what a wonderful servant of God.
Yes.
And couldn't he share the love of God with passion?
Mm-hmm.
And so you remembered some of the names, like John and Mattie Campbell.
Yes, yes. And what we call him Bingo today.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
his wife. Yeah. There was quite a few houses that
yes.
came to witness to the people, and then we had that service in that little broken down church.
Yes.
Had holes on the.
Yes.
Yes, and then you were there for many days.
Yes.
Docked at and then with all the people on the Messenger 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we had 7 or 8 days in Howsett, and then we decided to take a break and go down to Ucluelet for 5 days.
Yes.
Then we went back to a house, and that was one of the times when, as the Creator does, comes among us, touches us. We sense more of His goodness to us. Those were good days.
Yes. Yes.
And tell me about your husband Sam. I think you brought Sam to a service.
Yes, I did.
The men are always slower.
Yeah. Well, somebody came. Actually, Bella. She couldn't really tell me what was going on because I wasn't going to the service, and she said, "You should come to church tomorrow night." And she said, "People are going forward, getting prayed for." I said, "Why are they doing that?" "Well, I think they're going to change their lives," she said. You know, and she named the people that were always drunk. And then she said she was standing up saying that she had a change of heart. And so I remember that and very clearly, because the Lord was moving amongst our people, and almost the whole village came to God that time. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
Well, we know Him, but there's always a little more intimacy.
Yes.
Getting to know Him a little bit better.
Yes.
And that was one of those times.
Yes.
I remember Louisa Roberts.
Yes.
She used to remark about Louise coming to her home.
Yes.
And sitting there and visiting with her.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't mind if she said to us, Louise would come and talk to me when I was drunk.
Uh-huh.
And then she said, I came to know the love of God. Yeah.
Yes.
Precious days.
Yes.
One of the things I remember pulling in with the messenger, and I could see Jack Patrick's house. The door would open.
Yes.
And Jack would head down to greet us. And those were very, very good days. Share with me what the coming of the Housets to your village meant to you, and what changes you saw.
Okay. Nobody really knew the Lord personally, and the changes that came in 1956. It was a life-changing experience for all of us. I guess I would say those that had a long time abuse from alcohol, and most of the people they drank, and then the life-changing, and stopped drinking, stopped smoking, and then in my experience, I've never held a Bible. I didn't know how to read, or even begin to read. Yeah, and that's I think all of us were like that, except for this one lady. When she was younger, she said they had a teacher that taught them the Bible, and that was Rose Coots. Yeah, and then Sarah Tube.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they start coming around it was in the summertime, and they started having a little Bible reading, and another thing that I need to tell was that Mr. Highfield from across the bay.
Yeah.
and they're the ones that you know, directed, you know, us to how to, you know, really focus on the Lord, and then grow up as, you know, believers.
Yeah.
And so that was quite an experience for all of us. And then the key people were the older adult men. I could think of Sam and Jack Patrick and Art Coots and many. And then the most experience I've had seeing a life-changing life of Corbett Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was an instant thing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and then the Lord, you know, had really touched his life, and then just instantly.
It's like the verse, "Create in me a new, clean heart, O Lord."
Yes.
And He creates that in us when
Yeah.
we turn to Him. It was a wonderful experience to see
Yes.
that in the village.
Yes, yes. And there was many, and today, when you talk to the grandchildren of those people, they still remember, you know, families being in church,
Yes.
and that it's been an experience in all these years. Yeah.
Well, it was always a pleasure for me to come to the village, and
Yeah.
we'd knock on all the doors and announce we're going to have a service in the old church.
Yeah.
and that was good. Someone would stoke up a fire
Yes.
in the back corner, and rain would come in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel about, you know, with the people with like Earl, and that I don't think in the New Channels area has ever forgotten Earl, because of his compassion, you know, for people, and wherever you go, and then they say, "Earl, oh yeah, we know Earl." So the New Channels people know him and have respect for him, and I know that. Yeah. They'll never forget Earl.
You know, well, it was a great honor for me, Barb,
Mm-hmm.
to be welcomed among your people on the coast. That's why I'm still here.
Yes.
I love it so much I can't leave it.
Yes.
I love the people deeply, and thank you for loving us.
One of the things that I remember as a child is I did go to Camp Ross when I was a little girl, and over the years I've thought back to when the gospel first come to our nation, and over the years I've known of other organizations, religious organizations, if you will, that have come to the area and have not stayed as long as Earl, you know, has. He's come time and time again to celebrations, to funerals, you know, to tragedies that have happened, especially within our community. So there's that real staying power that I call, you know, of his love for the Lord and his love for our people. And it's been a genuine love that I've seen, you know, over the years, comparing to other religious organizations that have come, and that's been a real true love that the Shantymen have brought to our area. And Messenger 3 coming in, I remember when they came in, I remember Merv Bowden coming as a young man, as a single man, coming in too, and ministering to us, and then bringing other First Nations to our area too, from Alert Bay. Do you remember
Yes.
Stacy Peters?
Oh, yes.
Yes, and So they brought in, other First Nations people to our area, and those are really good memories that we have. A lot of them have passed on now, but they've left really good memories, left good marks in our community in terms of relationships, especially relationship with the Lord.